Hello everybody and welcome back to Dollar Tree Dinners. My name is Rebecca and today is the start of another Budget Grocery Week series, or in this case, I think it's going to be Budget Grocery Month. For those of you who are here because of my Cooking for Community series, I do have to unfortunately let you know that it is on a brief hold. The senior that I was helping regrettably has fallen and injured herself, and now she's in a rehabilitation center for the next 30 days or so. So I've been instructed to put the meals on hold for a little bit until she gets back, and we do wish her a very speedy recovery, but it does mean that I need some other content to make in the meantime. So what better to do than a budget series? I love doing these videos. They are one of my favorite things to do, just to see how far we can make a dollar stretch. In this case, we've got a $100 budget in 30 days. Let's establish some ground rules, shall we? The only items I can use from home, as always, are oil, salt, and pepper. Everything else must be entirely budgeted in. For this particular one, I am going to use all of my resources that are available to me, which in this case is Dollar General, Dollar Tree, and Food Lion, because on my way to Food Lion, I pass by both a Dollar General and a Dollar Tree, so for me personally, they are not out of my way. I shop at those stores very frequently, so I'm pretty well aware of what items I can get at Dollar General that are cheaper, what items I can get at Dollar Tree that are cheaper, and of course, what items I can get at Food Lion that I can't get at either of those stores. But I think that's it for the introduction, so let's go ahead and jump right in. So I've been sitting at the dining room table just kind of planning out my first day of shopping, and I've got a pretty good list made up. So what I've been doing is I've been on the Food Lion website all morning looking at what's on sale, trying to compare unit prices on things, trying to get the best bang for my buck, since this is $100 to last a month, not a week. So I'm trying to think in terms of unit price, sort of, things that'll probably last me at least 2 weeks or even the entire month. I anticipate that today I'm gonna spend about $30, and hopefully some of those ingredients will last me a week, 2 weeks. It seems like such a big chunk of the budget. I'm already feeling, I'm trying to be optimistic, but the fact that I'm going into this and I'm already gonna spend about $30 right off the bat is concerning about whether this $100 can last me the entire month. So my first stop was actually the drugstore. I wanted to pull out $100 in cash so I can actually have a physical representation of how much money I have left this month. Next stop was Dollar Tree. Here I got peanut butter, some strawberry preserves. I needed an all-purpose seasoning since all I can use is oil, salt, and pepper. I debated between the salt-free seasoning, this Tuscan garlic and herb, and then they also had a seasoned salt. I did get the Tuscan garlic and herb. Maybe I'll regret that, who knows. I also got plain oatmeal and flavored oatmeal. I will mix those two together. I got some milk, 2 pounds of white rice, a loaf of sandwich bread, and at Dollar Tree, I spent $10.10 total. And then lastly, I went to Food Lion. I'm here mostly for produce and meat and things that are cheaper at Food Lion than they are at Dollar Tree. First, we're gonna get a bag of yellow onions. These were $1.99, and a 5-pound bag of gold potatoes. These were $2.99. I was going to get peaches, but then I saw that pineapple was $1.99 and I prefer pineapple, so I did grab one of those. Next, I got bananas. Now, I don't like green bananas, and I also don't want to wait for bananas to ripen up, so I did pick a bundle that is a little questionable. It's quite brown, but I think it'll work. Brussels sprouts were half price, so I did get a bag of those. These were $1.99, and I got a 2-pound bag of carrots for $2.19. Next up, over in the meat department, I was able to get this pack of whole chicken legs. This was just under $3. I got 2 cans of green beans. These were 64 cents each. A can of condensed tomato soup for 99 cents. And then I did splurge on an entire pound of cheese for $3.79. I went with medium cheddar. Next, I got 18 eggs for $2.99. This is the biggest quantity of eggs you can get at Food Lion. I was gonna get this tub of Country Crock for $2.50. I did put it back to get real butter because at Food Lion you can buy just 2 sticks of butter, and it was the same price as getting the Country Crock. So I figured let's budget in the butter this time. The cashier unfortunately rung up my onions wrong. He rang them up as just individual onions, not as the whole bag. So they came out to $4.39, not the $1.99 that they should have. Everything else rang up right, and I did upgrade the cheese. I wasn't going to get a whole pound of cheese, so my total did come out to $30 at Food Lion, which was a little more than I was hoping to spend. So between the two stores, I spent $40 on this first day. Spending $40 on the first shop was not ideal and it was not my intention, but as I mentioned, the onions were not rung up correctly. They were rung up about $2 more than they actually were supposed to be, and I did get a couple of things that I didn't intend on getting initially. I figure if nothing else in the last week, I'll at least have peanut butter and jelly. Ideally, I'm going to divide this trip that I just did, Dollar Tree and Food Lion, into things that I bought that need to last this entire week, things that need to last me at least 2 weeks, and things that need to last me for the entire month. So first, these are the things that I'm probably going to use up entirely this week. Of course, fresh produce, Brussels sprouts are not going to last longer than a week. I will probably go through a whole loaf of bread in a week between breakfast and lunches. I did intentionally buy bananas that are on the cusp of like being ripe because that's the only way that I like bananas, and this is going to kind of force me to eat them pretty quickly. I did also get a pineapple. This is almost ripe, maybe not quite ripe. And then the chicken, which is definitely going to be for this first week. Now we have the 2-week items, or the items that I anticipate will last me at least 2 weeks. So we have the 18 pack of eggs, we have the 5 pounds of potatoes, 3 pounds of onions that they rung up incorrectly. We have peanut butter, milk, and butter. Hopefully this lasts me more than 2 weeks, but this is only 2 sticks of butter. Typically I buy margarine, but I felt like this time we might try to see if we can budget in real butter. And lastly, we have the items that I anticipate will get me through the whole month. Starting with carrots, just because I'm really not that much of a carrots person. And this is 2 pounds of carrots. I mostly got it for like making roasts and things like that. We'll get into that whenever I make the first dinner. The oatmeal, this might not last me the entire month, but I'm also not really much of an oatmeal person, so I mostly just have this in the event that I want kind of a sweeter breakfast. Same thing for the jelly. This is a big jar of jelly. I'm not going to go through this in 2 weeks. The cheese, I am going to attempt to make this last me the whole month. That's going to take some self-control. Rice, again, I'm not really much of a rice person, so this 2-pound bag of rice will probably last me a good while. I do not expect the 2 cans of green beans and a can of tomato soup is going to last me a month, but I put it in this category because it's shelf stable, so I'm really in no rush to use it. I always try to prioritize the fresh ingredients before the pantry ones. And lastly, the seasoning mix, that is going to last me the whole month. I might have to pick up something else later on to add some variety, but for now, this one should work for what I need. So today was mostly my planning day and my shopping day, but the official $100 starts tomorrow, so I will see you in the morning. I am going to start off my morning with a little bit of prep work for the week because some of these bananas, mostly because some of these bananas that I bought from the store yesterday are in a little bit worse shape than I originally thought they were. And we obviously can't be wasting anything, so let's make some banana baked oatmeal. I definitely probably should have went with some of the green ones, but it's okay. So I'm going to start with 3 bananas. And yeah, these are pretty rough. They're pretty bruised. And I'm just gonna mash those up with a fork. All right, to this I am gonna crack in 2 eggs. And 1 cup of milk. I would have gotten whole milk, but Dollar Tree didn't have any. They only had 2% in stock. And now for the oatmeal, I'm going to be doing a combination of the flavored and the unflavored oatmeal. Since I don't have things like cinnamon, brown sugar, any kind of flavor elements, this is going to be the flavor, this is going to be the sweetener, but I'm going to mix it with some of the unflavored oatmeal to make this go further. In the past, when I made this baked oatmeal, I used, for this volume, I used 6 packs. So first I need to see how much is in a pack, which I think it's about a third of a cup. I need 1.5 cups total of oatmeal. Yeah, that's a half measuring cup and it's not quite full. So each packet is 1/3 of a cup. So let's do, if I need about 1 2/3 cups, will probably be fine too. So let's do 2 packets. And then I'll do 1 cup of plain oats. I have a greased 9x9 baking dish, and I'm just gonna pour that oatmeal in. And then I'm gonna bake this at 350 for about 30 minutes. Let me loosen this up from the pan here. All right, so there we go. That is breakfast on day one. We have some maple brown sugar oats with some banana, kind of baked all together. These baked oats are so wonderful. Perfectly sweet from those overripe bananas. Bananas really do taste the best when they look the worst. I think I'm actually gonna freeze the rest of this, or at least half of it, because I'm kind of thinking in terms of putting some food in the bank for the 4th week, because I don't want to run into a situation where I've run out of money on the 4th week and I don't have a lot of variety in the meals. So it would make sense. I have 3 weeks. I have 3 weeks between now and the 4th week to set aside some food from every week to make sure that the 4th week comes around and I'm not just kind of scrounging for scraps. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. We're going to start squirreling away some food to make sure that when week 4 rolls around, I have options. We're going to start with half of this banana baked oatmeal. And let me go ahead and put away the other slice for my breakfast, either tomorrow or the next day. I don't have to eat it right away. So as I mentioned, the produce is my #1 priority, making sure that that gets eaten before it goes to waste. So the next thing I'm going to do is slice up this pineapple. I am concerned that this pineapple is also not good, which it looks like it is not. It looks like it might have gotten frozen at some point. I did the squeeze test. I usually look for a pineapple that's a little bit not quite green, but a little bit more on the yellowy brown side. But that is a waste of pineapple and a waste of $2. Is it good anywhere? This is why produce shopping is so hit or miss at Food Lion. They don't always rotate things efficiently. Hi, I was up there yesterday. I bought some produce and I just cut up one of the pineapples that I bought and it's pretty rotten on the inside. I wasn't sure if I wanted to return it, would I need to bring it or just pictures of it? What would suffice? Okay, no problem. And then also, while I was there, I bought some of your onions that are on sale. They're $1.99, but I guess the bag that I had didn't have a tag on it. And the associate rung it up as individual onions, so I didn't get the sale price on that. How would I handle that? You have the receipt? Yeah. Yeah, just bring in the receipt and I can take care of it for you. Okay, thank you so much. All right, thank you. Bye. So obviously going back to the grocery store is not the ideal situation. It wastes time, it wastes gas. Both of those are precious resources, but I do want to show you that if you get something from the grocery store and it is not to par, in this case the pineapple was rotten, you can return it. And I'm going to use this opportunity to also get my couple of dollars back on the onions, since I didn't really want to make a fuss about it yesterday. But if I have a reason to go there today, then I might as well, then I might as well kill 2 birds with 1 stone. But if your money is extremely limited and you go to the grocery store and you splurge on fresh produce, because fresh produce is not cheap and it is not good, then rather than just working with it, try to see what your store's return policy is and try to see if you can exchange it or return it for a better version or something different. One other thing that I'm going to do, since I did buy real butter this time, is I'm going to make my own spreadable butter. Butter on its own isn't really spreadable, and I know you can leave it at room temperature, but to make it stretch even further, it would be nice to make a butter spread. I'm only going to be using half a stick though, because again, we're trying to save things, we're trying to ration things, we're trying to make the most of everything. So a half stick of butter, which is about 1/4 cup, and I'm just gonna cut that into chunks. And I'm gonna take my little chunks of butter and place them in a little bowl. And I'm just gonna leave this at room temperature. It shouldn't take long, like 20 to 30 minutes since they're cut into little pieces. This is a pretty small bowl, so once my butter has softened to room temperature, I'm using an electric mixer with just one of the whisk attachments on it. And I'm gonna whip that up. And once it's pretty light and fluffy, I'm gonna add in 1 tablespoon of oil to begin with. Again, this is only a half stick of butter. And I'm also gonna add a little extra salt to compensate for the oil. And let's whip that all together. Scrape down the sides. And give it one more whisk. So now whenever I go to make toast or grilled cheese, I have spreadable butter so that I can potentially use a lot less. And I want to do something similar with the block of cheese. Again, thinking in terms of how I can make this last the longest. And the way that I like to do that is by kind of pre-portioning it. So this is a 16-ounce block of cheese. So first I'm going to cut it in half. And then I'm going to cut each of those in half. But I'm going to cut each of those chunks down further so that I end up with 16 chunks of cheese. This is 16 ounces of cheese. So by cutting it into 16 chunks, I have a 1 ounce portion of cheese that I can use on a daily basis. I've heard that you're not supposed to keep cheese in a plastic bag, which I think is strange because it comes wrapped in plastic, but I've always kept it in a plastic bag with no issues. Which is a great segue into lunch, because for lunch we're going to be making a grilled cheese. Now I had intended to have this with some pineapple, but you guys already know what happened with that. I am also going to be having some tomato soup to go with the grilled cheese. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is taking one of my little portions of cheese and grating that up. So again, this is medium cheddar. I thought that that would be the most versatile. I tend to not really like the sharpness of a sharp cheddar or an extra sharp. So I thought medium would be a nice middle ground. Should still have a really good flavor in our grilled cheese. I did debate buying American cheese slices, but I thought cheddar would be a little bit more versatile throughout the month. Plus, I'm a little bit of an American cheese snob, and I really only like Kraft American cheese. But let's go in with some of our little butter spread here. This is not refrigerated yet, so it will firm up in the fridge a little bit. You'll have to excuse me because these kids' bowls are the smallest bowls that I have, but I'm not a big tomato soup eater. I more so like it just to dunk the grilled cheese in and maybe sip on, but I'm not going to eat an entire bowl of tomato soup. So this tomato soup's going to last me a while because I'll usually only have like that much per serving. So I'll probably get about 4 bowls out of that can. I'll put the rest of the soup in a jar. And yeah, like I said, I will probably get 4 servings out of that soup just because it's not a meal for me. It's just a means of flavoring a grilled cheese sandwich. It's a little on the thin side, but it should be perfectly fine for a little soup and sandwich style lunch. So despite the gas and the time returning the pineapple at Food Lion was a really simple process, I ended up communicating with the same person that I had called and spoke with. They refunded me double the price for the pineapple, so it was $1.99, so they gave me $4 back for that. And they refunded me the entire cost of the onions. They didn't charge me the $1.99 that I should have paid. So they refunded me like $8 and some change. Now I didn't want to risk getting another pineapple and it not be ripe or it be bad. I thought about getting canned pineapple. I did think about getting the peaches, which I had originally wanted to get. Those were on sale for 99 cents a pound, but I checked a couple of them and they felt rock hard. I'm not the greatest at picking out fruit, so I kind of default to canned fruit whenever possible. So I did take that $8 to Dollar Tree. And at Dollar Tree, I got 2 cans of sliced peaches. I also got a package of banana nut muffin mix. I thought this would be a great way to use some of those extra ripe bananas. And I realized I didn't have any sort of a sweet treat. You know, I like to try to incorporate either snacks or dessert or drinks whenever possible. So I thought about getting this at Food Lion the other day, but it was more expensive at Food Lion. I knew I could get it at Dollar Tree, so I did get a box of chocolate brownie mix. I got the brownie mix because I only need one egg to make it as opposed to a cake mix. And also if I got a cake mix, then I'd probably want to get a frosting. So this was a nice way I could get a dessert without needing to buy extra ingredients. And the last thing I got at Dollar Tree was some unsweetened applesauce. This is just apples, water, and ascorbic acid. It is 5 cups of applesauce, and I think I'm going to use it to replace the oil in the brownie mix, because even though I try to say like I only include oil, salt, and pepper, I do try to use those minimally at best, so I am going to budget in the applesauce to replace the oil for the brownie mix. I'm sure I can find other uses for this throughout the week as well, with the oatmeal, with the bananas. There are probably a lot of ways that I can use applesauce. For dinner, I made this beautiful one-pan chicken and vegetables. If you recall, while I was shopping, I got this pack of whole chicken legs for less than $3, and the only thing I did with the chicken legs was divide the thigh from the drumstick. Next, I peeled and chopped 3 large carrots. Now, we are working with a very small budget here, so it's important that we don't waste anything, so I am going to be saving the peels for potentially making a stock or a soup later on. I also peeled and roughly chopped 1 onion, and again, this is another situation where we're going to be saving the peels for making a soup. Lastly, I chopped one of my largest potatoes out of my 5-pound bag, trying to make this in similar size pieces to the carrots. This particular meal works really great with root vegetables that need a long cook time because we are going to be baking it for an hour. So into a bowl went my carrots, my onion, and my potato. I'm going to drizzle this with some oil, and then I seasoned it with salt, pepper, and some of that Tuscan garlic and herb seasoning. And then this goes into a 9x13 baking dish. Using that same bowl, I'm going to add in my chicken thighs and drumsticks, and I'm also going to add some oil, salt, pepper, and that Tuscan garlic and herb seasoning, and then toss this to coat. And then I'm going to arrange the chicken legs and thighs on top of the bed of potatoes, onions, and carrots. This is going to get baked all together at 400 degrees for 1 hour. In the meantime, I'm going to prepare the Brussels sprouts by removing the stem, and then I cut them into quarters. I'm not too worried about the leaves falling off because that's kind of my favorite part of Brussels sprouts. And again, I'm going to be using the same bowl because these are going to be roasted. They are not going to be eaten raw, so I'm not worried about the fact that I used this bowl for the chicken. Once again, oil, salt, pepper, and that Tuscan garlic and herb seasoning. And then I like to really massage this in because I like to kind of break up some of those loose leaves. Again, that is my favorite part of Brussels sprouts. I eat them like chips. So once that's all well seasoned, it went onto a foil-lined baking sheet, and this will go in the oven when the chicken and vegetables has about 20 to 25 minutes left on it. After about 15 minutes or so, I like to give the Brussels sprouts a toss, and at this point I will snack on some of the more brown and crispy leaves. There is nothing better than crispy little Brussels sprout chips. This is the type of dinner that comes together very easily. You do not need a recipe to make it. You can make it with whatever you have. Again, I do suggest root vegetables just because of the long bake time, but you can see how golden brown and delicious these chicken skins are. This is fantastic. I did kind of deconstruct this, so I took all the chicken, I put it on a plate, I took all of the vegetables, that went into a container, and I'm gonna save this kind of liquid from when it was cooking because this has a really rich chicken flavor and I think it will make a great addition to a soup. So this was my dinner, some chicken with some potatoes, onions, and carrots, and some roasted Brussels sprouts. I only put 1 chicken leg on my plate, but I did end up eating 2. And when you're done eating your chicken, take the bone, even the one that you ate off of, and put that in the scrap bag for making soup later on. The scrap bag will stay in the freezer and just accumulate until I'm ready to use it. I need to be honest with you guys, for the past few months or so, I've been really in my head about what videos are worthy, and I feel like I needed to do this to just kind of reset and just have some structure again and feel like I'm really putting out some helpful information and content. Sometimes it's hard to balance the entertaining with the helpful. But as I mentioned, these series are some of my favorite to do, and I really look forward to making them. The thing about this one is that I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it successfully. I am optimistic that I will, but I'm also thinking already that this might be the first time that I fail, and I really hope that I don't. I don't consider failure to be an option because somebody out there only has $100 and will go to these videos as a frame of reference to see if they can make it work. And I oftentimes forget that the reason that people are here is because I'm not afraid to show real life scenarios like the pineapple being rotten, or even just trying to get your money back when funds are limited. I think so far we've got a pretty good start. You guys will have to let me know in the comments down below, but I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. These will not be daily videos. I will be uploading twice a week. I have kind of a tentative schedule laid out. Hopefully I stick to this, but these videos do take a lot of time to film and edit and post. But that's the goal, is to get out 2 videos a week for the entire month. So to recap this video, we had a $100 budget. We went to Dollar Tree, we spent $10.10. We went to Food Lion, we spent $30.01. We went back to Food Lion and got a refund. I don't have the specific dollar amount on that, but then I took that refund to Dollar Tree and I spent like $6 and some change at Dollar Tree. As it stands, because I have cash, I have a physical representation of what I have left, and it looks like I have $63.01 left at the end of day 1. But we have a lot of food, so that is a great start. And hopefully we can make $100 work for the whole month. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day, and I will see you again soon.